if we used all of our line of credit up and spent all the money we got, and the market tanked and we had to get out of here, then they don't let you pay more than what that loan is at this point.
Yeah.
Now that's the kind of stuff you have to go dig in and figure out, and it just sometimes may not make a lot of sense right on top of it.
Hey guys, this is Matt Helton with OneTrust Home Loans, your reverse mortgage experts, and you found the Serving Senior podcast. Now, this is the podcast we highlight those businesses and professionals that serve seniors at a high level. But today we have a different twist on the podcast. We have one of my good friends and clients, the Smoot family. They were going to share with you what they thought about reverse mortgages when they first heard about it, the process they went through, but they're going to share what they got out of it and how it's helped them. So thank you guys for being here today. How are you, Smoots?
Good. Hey, thanks, Matt.
Good. You're so welcome. Good to see you. I can't believe I pulled you off the golf course, Mr. Jimmy.
Yeah, it's tough, but then I thought
whatever I
can do for you.
That's great. Actually, I think Melissa told you to get off the golf course to do this, right? Is that probably
pretty much how it went?
Yeah, got it. Well, thank you guys for being here. I always enjoy chatting with you, and I've enjoyed working with you guys over the years. And I know a lot of people have some misconceptions, or maybe they really have some concerns about what we do and how we help seniors. So just wanted to get some background from you guys on your process and how you decided this is something that you wanted to do. But maybe if you could share with our listeners, where you're from, what you used to do, when did you retire? Give us a little background.
Yeah, well, Melissa and I have been married about 10 years, and we actually went to grammar school together.
Really?
Yeah, both of our second marriage.
Okay.
And, but we weren't close back then, but we knew of each other. And
nice.
She was in a class with my younger brother.
Okay.
And so we met a while back and just started going out and ended up getting married. And she moved into my house over here in West Nashville.
Okay.
And so I retired a couple of years ago from the construction industry. I had my little construction company and closed it down. And Melissa worked until about a year ago, January, as a legal assistant downtown in a large law firm. So we just decided we want to do a little traveling and maybe fix the house up a little bit. I've got an awesome garden going now, and had to have the budget to golf a little bit.
There you go.
Take a few vacations. So
that's awesome.
Kind of our main thing. So we had heard about reverse mortgage, and in fact talked to you early on about it, and went through the steps several years ago to get what they call qualified, or
you guys did the counseling class.
That we did, and then we kind of put it on the back burner.
Okay.
I was still working, she was still working, with money coming in, and we weren't really that concerned with about and we had some investments and thought that our future was okay, and so we kind of dropped it, and then we came back to you a couple of years after that and said, we want to look at that again. So we did, and went through the counseling again, and learned as much as we could. That was kind of the thrust of getting comfortable with it, was to talk to the actual people that put these on and do the counseling, and then follow up by, reading the rule of the mortgage people and talk to the mortgage company, several of them, and just gain some information. And from all we could find, we couldn't find a catch or a pit.
We both hunted.
Now what's going to screw up on this?
That's a great point. Yeah. What was it that kind of caused you to first look into it, but then maybe what were the catches you were looking for that you were expecting to find that you didn't find?
Yeah, I think the market, kind of caused us look at, we had checking, just as simple as Zillow around here. We had equity in the house, and we just had a very small mortgage left.
Oh, yeah.
And we decided that it might be the right time.
Well, we also said we couldn't retire until the mortgage was paid off.
But we'd been doubling up on it for a while, and it was down. Like I said, we just lacked 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, we could have done it,
getting the thing done. But we said, hey, the house is probably as high as it's going to be, or at least at this point, there's a chance it drop a little bit. So, we kind of put the numbers together with your help, and it looked very nice. We could take a large chunk of cash and just put it in our account and just have it, plus a line of credit for you've got to wait like a year before you can access this line of credit. So now that's sitting there, and we've been able to, not have our house payment. And with the other investments we had, that we take some dividend, and that helped a little bit to add to our Social Security.
Makes sense.
Before it goes belly up, we're able to take that and make all of our expenses and, live comfortably. I think we were not excessive about traveling and that, but we do like to take nice vacations.
Sure.
And what this is, if you don't jump in.
Yeah.
What this has allowed us to do is we have resources. If we ever had an emergency, we could pay for something.
Okay.
But it would be like credit cards, or, we could apply for a loan or something. But this has allowed us to have that nest egg to tap into if something big came along, and several things have.
Okay.
That's right. And we've had to go in for some money, but it's like it was the cushion that we didn't really have to touch because we got no expenses. I mean, no debt.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have expenses, but
no payment
covered with what we've got. So it just made it, a good decision, but we were still a little skeptical. We kept going.
Well, it allows you to use the equity in your house without selling your house.
Makes sense.
And as far as we know, we're, going to stay in this house.
Okay. As long as we can.
As long as we can.
The beauty of it too was for me was that you can't lose with this situation here because it is FHA. Am I right? FHA.
Yep.
And if we used all of our line of credit up and spent all the money we got, and the market tanked and we had to get out of here, then they don't let you pay more than what that loan is at this point.
Yeah.
Now that's the kind of stuff you have to go dig in and figure out, and it just sometimes may not make a lot of sense right on top of the surface.
Yeah,
that's why you get on. How do you do that? Well, it's a mortgage, but it's reversed.
Yeah,
I had a hard time where she got it pretty soon and had to keep coming to me and telling me how it worked.
Well, and the loan that's out there does grow because it is a reverse mortgage.
Right.
But you're not making any payments, and there's a cap on it.
You nailed it. You mentioned something, Melissa, about the knowing that you kind of got this money sitting there if you ever needed it in case something happens. 2 questions. One is anything happened that you've been able to use it for, or have you not needed to? And then number 2 is sounds like that you're almost saying it gives you peace of mind.
Exactly.
Knowing that's back there. Like how does it make you feel, or how comfortable have you felt just knowing you've got this behind you, not being down to credit cards and loans you may not qualify for?
Well, I remember right after we closed and the first part of the reverse mortgage that you get cash was in our account. Our refrigerator, but wasn't it the refrigerator? Our refrigerator broke, and Jimmy was just like, "Oh my gosh, we got to go buy a new refrigerator." And I went, "We have the money."
That's awesome.
So, and I think, and then my son passed away, and we had to pay for a funeral. But and so that's all paid for. Certainly an unexpected expense. We had covered ours, but didn't think we'd ever have to do that.
Got it.
Well, one thing you need to, anybody, reverse mortgage or not, you need to have somebody that's very sharp, take care of the budget. And that was her.
Wow.
Yeah. So we've got a written monthly budget.
I live by my Excel spreadsheet.
That's awesome.
And you can allocate money to any department you want to, groceries through trips, my golfing, auto
vet bill.
I mean, it's just really great to have somebody that manages.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, that's what it's true. And sure saved me. I was, this contractor out there, I'd get a bunch of money at one time or no money,
right.
And I don't know what my taxes were. It was just crazy. I'd go into a tax guy.
Doing extensions on this.
Extensions and all that.
Like,
and
no.
After she set that up and said, no, here's what you're going to do.
That's awesome.
That check you get, we're going to allocate money here. And IRS, we're going to set aside a category for, to pay taxes. And I was able to.
You said, Jimmy, that you met her when you were in like elementary. So it sounds like you're describing you finally found the one that got away, is what it sounds like.
That's right.
Yeah.
You finally got her.
That's a good way to put it. But,
that's awesome.
So I was able to have peace of mind through my business like that, because I was not worried about my income tax payments or things like that.
Wow.
All worked out.
That doesn't have anything to do with it.
No, it doesn't have anything to do with that. I'm just saying that have a good person,
have a plan,
to help you figure this out and help you set up a budget, because obviously this is for seniors and we're going to be getting our Social Security, and that, depending on your situation, that may do it right there.
Right.
It really might. I mean, we were fairly close and we decided we wanted more stuff and to be able to fund that budget. So we got some of our investments. We got our dividends sent right into our account, right along with our Social Security check.
Okay.
Yeah. And all that's working out good now.
One thing I would say about the reverse mortgage is you feel like, you don't feel like you have this big amount of cash at first. You've got to resist the urge to spend it all.
Yeah.
Unless you have some other resources, but if you had other resources, you probably wouldn't be doing that.
I've always been frugal, and you have too.
Yeah.
Out of necessity.
That's great.
But there were times when I thought,
yeah,
that's awesome.
There's a new Cadillac sitting over there.
That's great. That ties into one of the things you probably found when you investigated were the changes. So used to be, we could give people, a high percentage of the value of the house, 70, 80% of the value, they get the money all at once. And that money sometimes easy come, easy go, right? So one of the big changes was we can give lower percentages, right? That's why you still have tons of equity in your house. And then it's broken up at most into 2 payments, the lump sum you can get, and also the line of credit. So that way, even if you did need to spend a bunch of money fixing the house, or you had these expenses that came up, you still have that line of credit that comes a year later that you guys know about as well.
And the amount of that grows every month.
That you mentioned. Exactly. So the line of credit, if you don't use it, it actually, the amount you can borrow grows and compounds over time, the larger amount. So great. That's a great point. Now, Melissa, I was going to ask you, and I know a lot of people have questions about concerns and things like that. Maybe could you walk the audience through maybe some of the concerns you had and then the investigation you did over time? Because as Jimmy said, you're very diligent, and if there was any holes in this, you would have found it. But maybe walk through the different things you were concerned about, how you researched it, and what you found out after you looked into it.
Well, the first time we thought about doing it, when you had mentioned it to us, I started out with that negative reaction that everybody else does, like. But I didn't, nobody could ever tell me why. And they would say, well, there's still a lien against your house. Well, yeah, there is, even if you have a regular mortgage. Right. So, so I got past that part, and then we went through the counseling and learned a lot. That's a very good thing for people to have to do. And they give you a lot of paperwork that you can read on your own. And of course, we looked up stuff and everything else outside of that. and talk to people. And that initial negative thing that nobody could identify never came to pass. So we decided that the first time not to do it. We just weren't ready. And I don't think we needed to at that point. But then the closer we got to retirement, it just seemed to make a lot of sense for us.
Makes sense.
And talking to you, I mean, you
were a victim.
I think probably as much as most professionals about the inner workings of it, but didn't you have also a specialist in your office that, or here in Nashville, you put us in touch with?
Yeah.
We talked back and forth with her. And also when it got down to actually getting the paperwork and approvals and all of that, we talked with people with that company.
Yeah.
West Coast. And say, well, what would happen if A happened? And they were able to tell us. B, I don't know all those details right now, but we were just trying to get comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And it's a process, I think.
Yeah.
Or you
I
can
think that's the
just pull the
most
trigger.
important thing is you have to be comfortable with what you're doing.
We had the equity, and it may not really necessarily have to depend on the market when you do it, because I think the quicker you do it, the better off you are if you feel comfortable with it.
Makes sense.
So we should have probably done it a couple of years early, although we didn't need to. That money would have been there, still.
That's a great point, Jimmy. Yeah, because what it does is the loan, once you close, you still have access to money irrelevant of the value of the home. So you almost mitigate your risk, right? So people are worried about the real estate market going down. Well, if we close it today, doesn't matter if the market goes down, you've got access to the capital that we've set up for you, irrelevant of the future value, right? So you're correct. Right. It basically mitigates your risk. You don't have to worry about, I mentioned something goes along with what you just said and what Melissa said is, where most seniors, right, they spend most of their time, no matter what side of the aisle they're on, whether it's watching CNN or Fox News, right? It's death, destruction, war, famine. There's when you watch that news all the time, it's all this. What a lot of that stuff's happening right now. So it's not like it's pie in the sky, right? But you mentioned, I like to say that we're not really doing a loan. We're giving people peace of mind. Well, with all that going on with inflation, it was 10% for a couple of years. Well, that 10% is still in all your prices, right? Inflation would have to be negative, right? Inflation would have to be negative for that to go away, meaning that we've got 10% on top of 10% on top of 3% with everything that seniors are paying for. So this just gives them peace of mind that they have that money, whether they use it or not, sitting there waiting on them so they can sleep well at night. That's kind of what we're trying to help seniors understand. So great point to you guys.
Well, that is right. Because seniors have a longer history of borrowing and watching markets and seeing how it works. And this is a little different than what you're typically used to, for the largest portion of seniors. So all I can say is be skeptical at first, but investigate.
But have an open mind.
Have an open mind and go in and look at this, and I'll promise you it can be a great thing.
Yeah.
And the peace of mind is a big, big part of it. And after years of bookkeeping, both of us in our each profession, this is so nice not to have to worry about a mortgage and juggling money all the time. We set up on a real tight budget, but there's excess in there too. I mean, if you put in money every month for clothes or every month for entertainment or every month, you're not going to spend that money. Hopefully, everybody that keeps on growing. An entertainment kind of fast, doesn't it? But,
playing golf.
Wow, right. That's awesome.
One thing I'll say, and you didn't ask me to say this, but whoever's thinking about doing this needs to find somebody they can trust, which that was you. I mean, of course, I've known you for years. So I already trusted you, but I think if people are nervous about it, but they have somebody like you that they can trust that's handling it for them or guiding them through it, that's going to make them feel a whole lot better. And I would always recommend you for doing it.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, thank you for saying that. Yeah, our goal is just to make sure people know the pros and the cons and educating them. And if this can better their life and better their situation, and like this is called, serve them and serve them, especially being a senior, they've earned the right to have a great retirement, then we want them to do it. If it's not going to help them and this isn't going to serve them in their retirement, we don't want them to do it, but we just want them to know it's out there, right? That it's available. So
that's
saying that.
Yeah, I like how you say that. You've earned this, and now you're at retirement. Take advantage of it. It's almost like a gift offered to you, and
it really is.
And so we took it. We were skeptical.
Yeah, because it sounds too good.
You get a lot of negativity. The general public is constantly bashing. It's like
we haven't even talked about it with our family because we just don't want to hear it.
Hey, this is our deal.
Right.
Sorry you're missing it, but anyway, it's time to do it, when you get around Social Security time, and just do it. Hopefully you got a little equity in a house. It'll put a lot of money in your pocket and a lot of money in a emergency reserve fund. And then you just don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, I appreciate you. Most importantly, I appreciate your guys' friendship and appreciate your trust that allowed us to take care of this. And thank you guys for your time. Anything else you would want to say before we sign off here?
No, I think we covered it pretty well, but make sure, people out there, that you get Matt. You get somebody like Matt. He's with you 100%.
Well, thank you, Jimmy.
That's the main thing, is have that peace of mind.
Yeah.
When you go through this.
Appreciate you saying that. Thank you, Melissa. And I appreciate you pushing through even when you're on the injured reserve. You're not feeling too great, but I appreciate you being here.
Well, I've held back my cough about as long as I can.
Well, that's okay, guys. Well, thank you. And thank you for watching the Serving Senior podcast, where we highlight those business and professionals serving seniors and helping them thrive in retirement, and also highlighting our fantastic clients like the Smoots. Thanks again. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
See you guys. Hey, this is Matt Helton with OneTrust Home Loans, home of Retirement Mortgage Solutions. And we really do appreciate you checking out the Serving Seniors podcast today. Now, please go to the description down in the body of the podcast where you can subscribe to get future shows. Please click that notification button so you get notified when other shows drop. And also, if you can go to servingseniourspodcast.com, and we'd love to hear a comment about our show. We have a heart to serve seniors, and we have a heart to make sure seniors don't just survive retirement, don't just get by in retirement. We want to show seniors how to thrive in retirement. So if you know of anyone that's 55 and older that could use some extra cash flow, maybe the retirement's not going the way that they like, our retirement mortgage solutions are designed for folks, and depending on the state, they're either 55 or 62 and older, to make sure that they have that kind of retirement that they want, as long as they own a home and they're in a good equity position. There could be some solutions that they may not have thought about, or maybe they've thought of and they just didn't know how they work. That's what we do. So anyone in that age group that could use some mortgage advice, my team and I would love to be able to help them. Thanks again, and look forward to seeing you on the next show. Have a great day.